Hi there, it's me, Aunt T. Yes, and happy Mother's Day. Just thought we'd have a little music to start off. So I'm talking about being the center. It's a good song, isn't it? Stuck in the middle with you. Yes, stuck in the middle with you. So I'm here today talking about what's it like to be center. Center, yes. And here I am. I'm gonna drink from this cup, but it's kind of hard to drink it from the center because, well, it's just so unnatural, right? Like completely in the center. So I kind of have to go either to the left a little bit, or I have to change hands and go to the left or the right. But either side, I'm getting some good tea. It tastes the same on both sides. Just maybe the difference is how I hold it, how I hold the cup. Now, what's really, really difficult is if I try to go from the extreme, like I can't even do it, like from the handle. So the only way I could do it from the handle is if I broke the handle. Therefore, it is extreme, as you can see, very extreme. And it doesn't matter what color it is. It's extreme. So that's far right, far left is extreme and breaking a handle. Like death to the handle, right? That's extreme. But most of the time, most of us, pretty well all of us, drink from the right or the left. Right? Left? It doesn't matter, right? All that matters is the tea. And that we all like the tea or the coffee or whatever it is you're choosing to drink from your cup. We all want to enjoy that. And we all want to partake of it. And it's not mattering what side. But to be completely in the middle, I can do it. But it's tough. And I lose my coloring because it gets on my lips. But anyway, so that's just showing an example in life today, how silly we're getting, how we are just, and there's such issues that are, yes, they're issues, they're social issues most of the time that we get hung up on. And these social issues seem to make it bad for the rest of us who just want to drink our tea or our coffee or just get to work or be able to afford a home or be able to afford just to buy groceries. Those are really the things that we all desire, all of us. And yet we're really hung up on the handle, aren't we? You know? We're really, really hung up on that, which we go to extreme, or some people are going to extremes. Most of us are center right or center left. And I even did if you can see, I did some painting, finally. And some drawing of symbols, like, um, so that's double circles. But anyway, it's a symbol. And if it's basically two circles and then another two circles inside. And you get this combination of the circles and the circles within the circles. And what I've tried to illustrate, because in Canada, the UK, and Australia, the Liberals are also called the Labour Party, Liberal Party, or pardon me, the Conservatives. No, Canada, UK, and Australia. And then there's the Labour Party, which is red in Canada and the UK and Australia. Now, in the US, they have the Democrats and the Republicans, which they're the opposite colors. They are red is the Republicans and blue is the Democrats. So, anyway, so I did a display here showing the different colors. If you mix the colors together, what do you get? So if you can see that blue and red becomes purple, and if you mix the other yellow and red, you get orange, and then if you mix yellow and green, or yellow and blue, you get green. So in other words, maybe we should all be looking at, could we all just be purple, or maybe pink, or maybe gray? And that way we're not so far one way or the other. Like, why do we have to fight this when we can all be together on what is important? And what's important for all of us are the common areas that we share. Let's talk about politics. I know politics and religion, they're tough things to talk about, but it seems to be the issue today. And the issue today that is dividing us, and when you think about it, why is it dividing us? Because really, we all have the same common things, just like this cup of tea. We all just want to drink from the cup. Exactly. That's all we want to do. We all of us want to be able to enjoy that cup of tea or cup of coffee or cup of scotch or whatever you're drinking in your cup, whatever it is. We all just want to enjoy that peacefully and not have to worry. And what we pay our money as good working people that we are in all the countries that we're in, and I'm talking democratic countries, all the democratic countries that we're in, we all pay a tax. And that tax is supposed to go towards infrastructure, number one, which, when do we ever hear about the politicians talking about infrastructure money spending? You know, that's a big, big deal. And then out of that infrastructure, and then there's also education, healthcare, and security, right? And then there's making money, like the areas that are common, you know, that are of the country's areas that are resourceful areas of where there's oil or some other mining resources, you know, maybe different minerals, uranium or gold or whatever is in your country that can help your country, that can make money for your country, for the citizens of your country, that can help to pay towards the taxes in your country. That's what is shared by all of us. That's the important part. Now, those other issues, the social issues that everyone seems to get all caught up on and start calling each other names about and getting all upset about, they're there's such a minority, and I'm not trying to minimize in any way these issues, but when you think about it, anyone that is a woman that is needing an abortion, um, yeah, I looked it up in Canada. It's just a little bit over 100,000 women had an abortion in 2023. So that in when you calculate that out of the population of Canada, out of 40 million people, but then that's not the women. So just disregard that because half of those are men. But anyway, it really lowers it to almost 0.25, which should be lower than that because I was calculating out of the whole population, so I screwed up there. But anyway, do you see what I'm getting at? And does it matter, like, what my opinion or what another person's opinion is about that? It's really, does that make me a bad person? Whatever my opinion is about that, and therefore it negates anything if I agree or don't agree with it. Do you see where I'm getting? Because the real important issues that even those persons that have had an abortion, all those women, they all still worry about roads. They all still worry about what they're going to eat, how much money they have to eat. They're all worried about getting a job, having a job. They're all worried about health care. They're all worried about education if they do have children, or they're getting an education themselves. Those are all the issues that really matter, whether you believe in abortion or not abortion. Or the other issue is the LGBTQ plus. 0.25% in Canada. 100,000. And that's not the actual people that are transsexual. That's the people that believe they might be, or they may be non-binary. That's a calculation of how many actually are born, births of actual births where there are two sets of genitalia. So there you go. 0.25. And out of that, they actually have two. So they actually do have to have an operation. So, but even them, out of that, when they're adults, their main concern in life is, as far as politics goes, about the infrastructure, about having money, jobs, and healthcare and education. Do you see where I'm going? We all have common, so we are all in that, where we all want to enjoy that tea, right? We all want to enjoy that tea, and it's kind of hard doing this way, but I can. But I'm going to choose this way, or I'm going to choose this way, depending on which hand I'm using. But I'm never going to do this, because I don't want to break the handle to do this, because it's extreme. So let's stop calling each other names. Far this, far that, far right, far left. Oh, you must be a this. I don't even want to say it. All the names of what everyone calls each other. Because it's just, it's nasty, it's mean, and it's not true. It's not at all the truth. Because no matter what anyone believes, whatever anyone believes is inconsequential because it's such a small percentage of these social issues, which maybe they are an issue somewhat, and it takes all of us being compassionate and empathetic to those in those small groups of people that are going through those issues. But out of those people, they still have to eat, they still have to sleep, they still have to find a way to get to school and a way to drive, all those things. And when you think about it even further, really, let's just get right down to it. Our politicians should really just be looked at as property managers. They are not anything more than that. They should not be treated as anything more than that than glorified property managers. And then you have your district managers, your regional managers divided up. And that's basically all they are. They're handling and managing the common areas that we all share. Those common areas that affect all of us. That's it. That's their job. That's all that should matter. So why are we making it into such a big, hairy deal? Why are we doing this? Why are we dividing each other? Do you ever think about that? Who started all that? Who got us all going and getting each other to hate each other or dislike each other? So much so that we're even, unfortunately, causing people to get killed because of whatever somebody said about somebody else, believing or not believing, their belief or not belief of whatever. Why are we doing this? It's silly. Stop it. Because basically, if you get right down to it, we are all center right, center left. Some days I'm center left. Some days I'm center right. Some days, I'm just neutral. Why do we do this? And when you think about who is responsible for getting us going on all this, what are they wanting out of it? And if you look at patterns in history, that's what I've written about in my article I wrote a couple of weeks ago called The End of the Game of Money. And I'm going to put it in the link in my in my link below that you can read about it. How in the past, World War I, World War II, there's sort of a pattern of things that happened. And what really got people going in World War II is they were already ready to go to war. A lot of people had their rifle by the door kind of thing. They were ready for it because there was all these things sort of orchestrated all before. Many different fights and different factions of different people. It was building up and building up and building up. We don't want to follow that same thing, do we? We don't want a third war. We don't want a third world war. And no, we've had some skirmishes. We've had, I call them skirmishes, but it's more than that. We've had war happening in Iran right now, the US and Israel and all of the Middle Eastern countries joining together to try and stop this hostage case of Iran holding the world hostage in the Strait of Hormuz with the oil, and to just cut it out already. And again, people are going to not agree with me on this, but I think the US and Israel have done a wonderful job so far in getting this to stop. And the Arab Emirates and the United Arab Emirates and all the other Middle Eastern countries are coming together and helping out. Changes have been made, different strategies done so that this doesn't happen again, that that oil doesn't ever get held up like this again. And different parties are showing up here. Different things have shown up in all of this. You see where the fight over who's going to have the petrodollar, who's going to be the superpower, that the US dollar is quite wrapped up around the petrodollar, and it's a fight for the supreme powers, Russia, China, the US. And so this is all coming down to this. If you look at it from afar, you can see that. But you can also see, when you think about the poor people in Iran, that for the past 47 years, well, they've unfortunately been taken over by the Islamic regime. The IRGC have been just, they didn't want this. They've been held hostage for 47 years, the poor people there. And so in another way too, I'm very grateful and thankful to the US and Israel for getting this to end, to stop this terrorism, this hostage taking over the world by the IRGC. And like I said, a lot of people may not agree with what I just said there. Again, go to the center, please. I'm talking here, trying to get everyone to be reasonable. And so, but when you think about it, who's behind us getting divided? Who's going to gain? And when you look at other wars in the past, who gained? And there's a little bit of evidence to show that it's this fight for the aristocratic or elitist or higher societies to have that control over the money. They don't like us having a middle class. They don't like us all being able to buy our own homes, own our own property, be able to be free to buy our own cars, and to do the things that they do, but they do it on a higher level, like they don't like that. They want a distinction between rich and poor. And if you look at it that way, you can see, okay, so this is why. And they are wanting us to fight each other. They are wanting us to be divided, when really we're all just wanting the same things. We're all just wanting that nice warm cup of tea and finding a way to drink it easily, right? Without going to any extremes. So if we could just look at it that way, that they're trying to push our buttons. They're trying to get us upset and out there fighting and everything over issues that you stop and you think, okay, all right, I'm going to be so mad about that issue over there when the potholes down the street haven't been repaired in 10 years, but we're going to spend all our money and time on these other issues that are social issues. Why? And so you kind of know that it's just a ways and a means for them to get us fighting amongst ourselves, within ourselves, when really all we have to do is just go, oh, okay, that's what you believe, that's nice. And that's all we have to do. We don't have to make a big deal about anything. And we don't have to make a big deal about if someone doesn't like that, whatever it is. They just go, oh, well, they don't like it. And that's it. We don't have to go out and kill each other, do we? That's extreme. That's very extreme. And there's a very small amount of us that are like that, and let's keep it that way. Because we don't want to be fighting each other, killing each other over these issues. When really what we should be focused on is getting our politicians to stop spending all our tax money, spending all kinds of money in a very reckless and sometimes it's fraudulent ways that they are spending our money pretending that they're doing something for us when that isn't really what we want. Because what we really want is that pothole fixed down the road. Or what we really want is to be able to afford our gas to fill up our car so that we can go to work. That's what we all really want. And our property managers are not doing a very good job. And that's all they are. And I think we need to change our thinking on that and join together, all of us, and start looking at how do we help each other in a community? How do we bring it down to a community basis? All of us looking at the needs and the desires and needs that are needed amongst us in a small way, going from communities then outward and going that way rather than going so far out and accusing each other of things that we aren't, calling each other's names and hurting each other when we don't have to. So that's my little message today, nieces and nephews, all of you out there. Let's stay in the center, okay? Whatever you are, center right, center left. Some days you're right, sometimes you're left. Don't matter. It's all about the tea, right? Ta-da.